I
We
was
all
talking
have
to someone that
something.
was doing Wim Hof breathing, and they were like, it's almost like drugs, and they were getting addicted to is it DMT? It's some kind of a DMT or a
Mm.
dopamine that your body can naturally release. And these feelings, you can get addicted to them, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to feel great all the time?
Yeah, right? And it's all getting us away from our worldly experiences of
Mm.
things that are maybe a little more challenging or leaning into our work. Like being in bliss is great, and we're meant to experience more than that.
Sometimes somebody's just got to come and shoot your dog and test you.
What the hell?
Oh man,
I
That
was
is a
like,
seriously.
wild experience.
universe, like,
It's
I did not manifest this. Like, I don't need a wake up call. Like, I'm awake.
Welcome back to another edition of the Pear Genius podcast. Today we have Tammy Waldron in the house from TawandaWellbeing.com. TawandaWellbeing.com. I just got to practice that over and over again. Welcome, Tammy, and of course, Kati's here with us.
Thank
Howdy.
you.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, Tammy, we're just going to get right into it. What the heck is TawandaWellbeing.com, and how did that come about?
Gosh, Tawanda Wellbeing is a place where people can come to learn how to do energy healing and a place to receive energy healing support. So I support integrative health practitioners to expand their toolkit to add spirit into help. I feel like mind, body, spirit is really missing the spirit aspect, and that's what energy healing can bring. And what happens when we incorporate that into our already existing wealth of knowledge, it deepens it into this wisdom that allows us to get to the root cause of what our clients are facing. And it's magical. It's beautiful, beautiful healing work that has changed my life. And so I'm called now to bring that into the world.
For sure,
Beautiful.
that's
So
amazing.
you bring spirit into other people's containers so that they can incorporate spirit into that as well. So why that? Why you? Why are you being called to bring spirit forward?
Well, it's my own journey that got me here, my own healing journey. So, for the first 38 years of my life, I was searching for healing and answers to the invisible wounds of adoption. I did all the things the world told me to do, all of them. I'm reading self-help books, talk therapy, meditation, inner child work, exercise, all of it, which was helpful. It helped bolster. I'm a learner. I love to learn, so I geek out on it, and I love to teach so I can talk about it. But it never touched that primal wound of what I was searching for until I landed on energy healing, and that touched it and healed it and has transformed my life. And I know I'm not the only person that looks at themselves and does mirror work and affirmations, and it doesn't work. So I felt like I was a failure, like there's something wrong with me. And, that can really lead to a spiral of devastation and make people want to quit. And you just haven't landed on what you need. There's more. It's more than mindset work, it goes deeper than
No,
that.
I've never heard somebody say primal wound. And when you said it, there was like this instant reaction in my body to it. And it makes me feel like I saw red right away and black. I'm like, okay, so root chakra, childhood wound, but also maybe beyond that to ancestral wounds that you possibly carry forward. So primal wound, what is the energy of that to you? If you could describe that as a sentient being, what would primal wound be?
Man, it was this sinking like vortex in my chest. It was this empty, like bottomless pit in the center of my chest that I tried to fill from the outside in for the majority of my life. And nothing I did fulfilled it. And I know like people have that, it's insatiable, you know, for relationships or material things like shopping, like addiction, right? Like you do it and you do it and it never fulfills what you're trying to satiate. It's
Mhm.
that kind of feeling um, that I have carried, like, and nothing touched it. Nothing touched it until I did energy healing, if that's helpful.
Yeah, that's amazing because I think everybody does carry a primal wound of some kind, and that's part of our human experience. Our soul wants to expand and build on that experience and transmute it. So there's this element of alchemy, I think, as well that comes through that. And you providing this container for people to heal themselves and then for them to go out and heal others with that is really, it feels like legacy work to me.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of the real roots is from our ancestors and from past lives that then it's in our subconscious, the programming, the feelings, the trapped traumas that we carry in our DNA that then relive in our lived experience. And so I've done work with people and they say, we're going back to an ancestor, and they're like, but it sounds like you're talking about my life right now. Well, it is your life right now. And it's patterns that have been repeated, not just over your own lifetime, but over many, many lifetimes. It's hard to wrap your head
So
around that.
it is, but I think at the same time that where we are in the collective and where humanity is going, the trajectory of humanity, I feel like now is a very big moment in dropping the ancestral wounds or closing the circuit of the ancestral, the looping, right? Do you feel the same way that maybe this is why you're such a powerful force right now because you are a part of evolving humanity?
100%. That is my work. I think it's all of our work to, as you said, close the loop, heal it. And all the things, all of our feelings, all of these beliefs, they just need to be seen, heard, understood, and felt. And in that they get processed. But when we just get these blind spots, and when we're living in the drama, when we're living in that story, it is so normalized, we become blind to it. So it's very helpful to have an outsider perspective to help shine light on it, see clearly. And once you see clearly and shine light on it, it can then just fall away and you can gain your power back because your power and your energy is leaking into the story and into that cycle. It's like a hurricane, right? It's when we're caught up in the story, we're in the storm. And
Mhm.
sometimes life kicks the shit out of us, you know? And it's like when you get your power back and when you can separate yourself from the story of life and anchor back into who you truly are and heal all of that, you have the power to do that. You can go back into who you are. And that's our calling. That's what we're here to do.
I think that this is such a valuable thing for most people, uh, but not just this. It's the actual educational piece to help them save time, money, effort, not chasing the material things, not chasing the wrong people or the wrong job or career or status. Understanding that if you could see yourself like 30 or 40 years in the future with all this money and all these things and how that doesn't actually, like you said, satiate or fill that hole. Um, I mean, how valuable would that be to just the average person? Never, I would say that I would probably say 90% or more of us are trying to satiate ourselves with the wrong things our soul doesn't even want.
Yes, right? What is the value of a fulfilled life? What is that worth? Living in peace. Like I have internal and external peace through this work. I never had that before. I was always searching, always looking for the next thing. And everything I was searching for was outside, but everything we actually need is inside. The wounds, what we need to heal and the power to heal. But like you said, we need to remember how to do that. Just like anything, technology or whatever, you need to know what buttons to push, right, to make it work. You need to know how to navigate. And once you connect to your true self and start to build that relationship, it's like anything else. It becomes easier and easier over time. And as you peel away the layers of what we're here to heal, our own wounds, our ancestral wounds, it becomes lighter and easier. And we're not talking about reliving trauma in this work. It's turning in and it lifting. It's just feeling the feelings and letting them pass.
Everybody can say that they want to do this, but what are some of the steps that they can take in order to truly be ready to start this journey? Because I don't know, some people might not be ready for it. They might want to in their mind, but deep down they might not be ready. So how do people get ready for something like this?
Right? Curiosity and an open mind. I mean, there's no prep work to turning in and saying, hey, what is it that I need to look at? Courage, I guess, would be for me. Like I was running my whole life away from this fear. And what happens with our emotions is that they get, they just want to be seen, heard, understood, and felt, right? They're teachers. They're here to tell us something. And so they get louder and louder and louder the more we shut them out and lock them up. And so over time, it's like, that's really scary. There's no way I'm opening that up. And we have to use addictions and coping strategies to minimize and numb them. And over time, you just have to add more and more to quiet them because they just get louder and louder and louder. But when you turn and look at them and just lean in with softness and curiosity and kindness and compassion and gratitude, they just soften. And they're like, wow, finally, I've been trying to tell you something. Great. What do you have to tell me? And it is helpful to be in a container with an expert, with someone who can hold your hand through that because you don't know what you're going to face. And some of it is blind spots that we don't understand that an outside can help bring clarity to it. But once you do it, once you learn how to do it, and that's what I teach, is how to do it independently. I can do a lot of work on my own self, but things that are really, really deep and protected in my system, I need an outside person to help me because I just can't unlock that myself.
Yeah, I think that everybody has it within them to do it, and yet somehow we've forgotten.
Yes.
So everything is so cyclical that there was a time when humans could do this for themselves and that they came with this innate knowing. And now I think that through the work that we're doing, we're asking people to remember, but there does have to be a guide saying, remember this. You have that in you. This is an empowerment moment that has to happen. And I feel like I mean, yes, if you are getting involved in an addiction, you are going to hit rock bottom. And that rock bottom is going to kind of ignite the curiosity to ask yourself, A, to show up with bravery, but B, to do the work. There's something there. Like there's something that has to be done and uncovered. And I feel like it should be done through ceremony. So, what does ceremony mean to you in the work that you do?
It's just pausing, taking breath, experiencing, staying connected to your spirit. So recently, like life has been lifing. I had a really crazy thing happen. And it was really wild because that day I got a video from one of my clients that a really cute video from a motivational speaker, like walk through life like life is happening for you. And then this really like bad thing happened. And it's like, how is this happening for me? But what happens is when we do this work, we can really connect to who we are spiritually and stay grounded in that. And then when you do that, you have this space and capacity to hold things that happen in life lightly. And I'm not going to say all things happen for a reason. I mean, I love that statement, but my what happened is my dog went into a neighbor's yard and he shot my dog. She's alive, she's like survived. She's a miracle. But like, why the hell would something like that happen? It doesn't make any sense. So I'm not going to wrap my head around it. I'm going to say I'm a spiritual being experiencing life. And there's emotions and feelings and shit happens. And I'm not getting caught up in the drama because I have space and I can stay grounded in who I am. Versus being a human stuck in a human experience, the drama triangle over and over and over again, and really caught up in that, occasionally having a spiritual experience. That's incredibly different. So if you want to have and live a spiritual life, that's the life that we're talking about. I don't get wrapped up in all of the what happens in life. I can stay grounded and centered in myself. And life is going to happen. That's what we're here
Oh,
for.
you're way nicer than me because I would have shown that neighbor my wood chipper,
Well,
and
I've gone to the
that would be the
police
end of that.
and gone through the protocols of what to do and, let it go. What else can I do?
That's like the worst thing in the world, Tammy. I'm sorry to hear that.
I know, but she's a miracle. My dog is a miracle because she's no internal damage, no surgery needed. It was like,
Oh,
Wow.
thank God.
wow, right? Sometimes you can't explain things. And so the
Except,
state
yeah.
of being is to be centered into who I really am and not the drama that life presents before us to experience over and over and over again. And I was just so set back, like, wow, I like really, that really showed me how much work I've done and how far I've
Mhm.
come because life doesn't present opportunities to show me like that very often, thank
Right.
goodness.
It's like an ultimate test of how far you've come. It really is.
Right? I was calm. I haven't experienced fear. I was perplexed and, like, wow, he's got children and a wife and like what is their life like and following through with the protocol of what we do and
I mean, if you think about the fact that our animals are with us to teach us a lesson or mirror lessons back to us of our own journey, and that you have this beautiful miracle dog that's been shot and has come through fairly unscathed. What a beautiful reflection of you that you have gone through such primal wound healing and have come through and are able to offer this gift through that pain, through the
Mhm.
experience, through the healing. So, I mean, I think that's just, it's so beautiful.
It's wild, right? It's we can wrap like we know we've come so far and we can really touch on the magnitude of what we're talking about and we can experience such a small amount. Like it's the awe and wonder of space and how big the universe is and how expansive that universe is inside of us. And we're a part of it all. And it's outside and it's inside. And it's just like, then you start talking about time. It's mind bending. But you don't have to get caught up in all of that. It really is as simple as pausing, breathing, getting out of our head, embodying into our body, and feeling our feelings and staying centered in that. And then being in awe and wonder of all the things that life has to present before you, miracles all the time.
So, what are some of the spiritual tools that you use? So, um, I guess maybe theta healing. I think I saw that on your website. But what about other tools like zodiac, enneagram? What are some of the tools that you've collected? If you're a learner, I'm assuming there must be some.
Yes, like right now, my top three. Theta healing is my foundation, which most people don't understand. Theta healing, it's not just getting into a theta brainwave like you do with the sound. It's you are connecting to source and channeling information and changing subconscious beliefs. It is powerful prayer and incredibly amazing. That's the foundation. And silent counseling is um like you can it's what I call self-regulated acupuncture through touch and breath on your meridian system. You can release what's trapped in your body really in a really simple way. So I certify people in that as well. I certify people in theta healing and gene keys have been incredibly helpful for me It is your soul's blueprint. And when you apply energy healing to the gene keys, I mean, we've been talking about root cause this whole time. It's on a whole cosmic another level of root cause. So I have a package where I walk people through their entire gene key profile, applying energy healing, and we identify what the shadow's teaching us, clear all of what has gotten stuck in that learning process, downloading the gifts and the cities and understanding really what that learning process is, and then you live into it. It's magical.
I love that.
I love the gene keys. The gene keys is something that we've just kind of come across and are just coming into. And so when I did my little deep dive, I'm like, oh, I can see how this would work really well with my star chart and my zodiac and moon and suns, like all my signs. And I'm like, all of these things play so well together.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. And when you start to actually, when you know them separately, I never learned astrology, but I've learned a little bit about my Chiron wound. Well, my gene key core wound, I
Yeah.
mean, you're just saying the same thing with different languages. It's like you,
Yes.
and then you go in with energy healing and you receive information that is so bullseye. I can't make it up. It's like my slogan. I can't make this shit up. Like, just can't. It's so magical.
So many people are trapped in the mind body big pharma loop that they've completely abandoned the fact that this is a very spiritual realm, if not more than anything else.
Mm.
That the whole physical is just almost a manifestation of of the experience of what our soul came here to test itself with.
Yeah. We're so stuck in our heads. I mean, science and all this, I mean, we are like head up beings. And there's this big movement right now of positive psychology and mindset, which is helpful. But man, it just keeps you in your head and then makes you think your head can override everything in your subconscious. It actually is contradictory to how our bodies are created. Our neurological system is created where we feel things first and think second. There's neural pathways that go from our body to our brain in a much higher percentage than from our brain to our bodies, but that's not how we talk. It's not how we learn, like what we hear about mindset, like, oh, just have a positive mindset and reframe things. That's like taking the weed from the ground level up.
Right.
Positive mindset and reframing. It's just like the weed's going to come back because we're not getting into what's driving that thought. It's in our bodies. And man, somatics and just being a human, humans are created to be feeling beings and to experience life through our emotions. Our emotions are a part of our senses. They collect data. They are here to help us, and we just have not been taught how to do that or given permission or allowed. And I'm talking both, like men and women. There's different messages for each one of us, but like, no, you're not allowed to be emotional, or
I
you're
was
too
going to say,
emotional.
for the last 10 or 15 years, I feel like me and Kathy have both been extremely frustrated with just symptoms being treated or
Mhm.
just symptoms being looked at and diagnosed or medicated. And we're we're so frustrated with that and so beyond that that we're always it, to get to the root of something, it's a crazy voyage and you might not like what you find, but it's if you really wanted to get rid of the things that are manifesting and the symptoms that are showing, you need to get to that root and either pull it out of the ground or heal it, right?
Yeah, that's my calling, is to bring
Mm.
this to integrative health practitioners. And are seeking, they are really not wanting to just treat the symptoms. They want an integrative approach, a holistic approach. They want to actually bring long-lasting um, treatment and, you know, cures to their clients. And they're getting to the edge where they're like, I've gone through all my protocols and I don't know what's next. Well, spirit is next, because when I work with clients, what I notice and what I have experienced is that if our body doesn't know how to process something, it holds on to it for us, protects it. That's part of IFS, theory. And in that, it's energy. It has a frequency and it impacts your physical body. And over time, it layers and layers and layers to the point where it has to blow. And so, that's like shaking up a carbonated bottle. It's going to blow its top. So that can be a hot button, people with a temper, triggers, and it can manifest in physical illness and disease. And so what is that? Like it's ancestral, like we talked about earlier. You might not be able to put your finger on it, but when we can incorporate this into the other aspects of the healing, we will truly have a holistic, integrated healing experience.
Yeah, our kids are always watching us, and I feel like we have gotten, and I'm talking about the people like midlife, like close to what Alex and I are, um, that our kids are always watching us, and we're getting to a point where we know that Western medicine is not enough. It's not providing what our bodies are requiring, and this manifestation of dis-ease in my body is not something that a pill is going to cure. It has to be something different. And I feel like they kind of already know that. The kids who are coming up, behind us, they know something. They've been plugged into that from the start. But watching us kind of question and push back and look for other options makes it really safe for them to do that and beyond. Because
Mhm.
they're probably already master Reikis at heart. They can probably, easier than me, go in and heal. Although this is something that I'm trying to, and Alex too, like, it's funny because we were talking to an astrologer this week and she was talking about how Uranus is moving into Gemini next week, and
Mhm.
how Uranus is the planet of, he's called sometimes the planet of chaos, the Lord of Chaos, because he comes in as this lightning bolt, and all of a sudden you're going to be forced to look at something, right? And
Mhm.
because it's in Gemini, it's coming in through mind and communication. And so for Alex, it was in his house of health. So when Uranus comes in with this lightning bolt and he's doing something health related, it's now, I had the feeling of his mind is going to be able to start healing some of the things that are coming up for him. So when he
I
starts glitching in different ways, his mind is going to be the powerhouse to be like, okay, we can take care of this. We have it within us.
what I love about that is contemplation is really powerful. If you understand and know what's happening, you can look at things in a different perspective and you can bring that higher consciousness, higher awareness into the system and shine light on those blind spots or things you're not aware of, or just seeing things that are happening in your life in a different perspective. I love that.
Right. And because we all have the brain and the mind for a reason. And yes, sometimes we spend way too much time up here. We're not using the tool the way that it's actually meant to be used. So that's exactly what you're saying. This is this perspective shift and giving this tool permission to do what it's meant to be doing.
It's a brilliant tool, right? Oftentimes when I'm working with clients, I fix and or weld or heal the mind, body, and intuition. It's like mind, body, gut. To me, it always shows up as this triangle where things are not flowing freely. It should go back and forth between each one and just flow in all directions all the time. And so, yeah, I often see that when I meet with clients and we resolve that issue. Because if everything is
Amazing.
communicating and operating in that way, yeah, our minds are brilliant. It's not that we want to cut off our heads, it's just we want to incorporate our heart and our gut. And which one should be leading? It's different for every person. And so we ask that, like theta healing and the work I do is unique to each person. The gene keys are unique to each person, and how they manifest is unique in each person. And so, when we resolve that communication lines, then we ask who's in charge, who's first, second, who's on first, second, and third. And then we give them that clear guidance. And so oftentimes it's the heart, but not always. Usually it's not the mind running first,
Hmm.
though.
Tammy, I wanted to know, like, explain to me theta healing again, because for some reason, I can never like grasp it. I've
I
heard
know.
about it and I know some people, and it's because it's not Reiki, it's something different. Like hit me with it so that it's tattooed into my brain, so I know exactly what it is, and for everybody at home too.
I know. I've been trying to tell people what it is without them experiencing it for over 10 years, and it's like really hard for people to understand without experiencing it. So I'll plug, I have a free healing circle where we get to experience it once a month. First Friday, unless there's a holiday like July, it'll be on the
Okay.
11th. But it is a meditation. So the practitioner goes into a meditation. Sometimes we guide the client into it as well. It's an easy guided meditation that gets us into a theta brain state right away. But in that, it's highly active. And in that state, we're super close to our subconscious, so we can change things really easily. But also, we're connecting directly to source. Infinite things are possible, but what happens is we connect and channel. And it's very communicative. So I'm relaying what I see. It connects you and grows your intuition. So whatever intuitions you have, they're going to be grown and enhanced. And actually, you can grow and enhance ones that you haven't tapped into yet. So intuitions are seeing. We do this with our eyes closed. So seeing happens where your daydreams live. You can have feeling, which if you're connected and allowing your body, we all have a sense, a gut feeling, right? That's our intuition. It knowing, you can have ideas, information pop into your head. And then there's this like deep body in my bones, just knowing. Um, and then people hear. Some people hear different voices, some people hear their own voice, but people speaking through that. And honestly, it's infinite. We can channel, we can talk to angels and guides. We identify what your limiting beliefs are, what your trapped feelings and emotions are from your own life, from your ancestors. I can identify them and clear them. Um, and then we can receive information, which we call downloads. So sometimes it's that you don't know something, so we receive it. When I'm doing work with the gene keys, then we do that wrapped around that gene key
Mhm.
and like what is it that we need to release or understand or know from the shadow? What do we need to download from that gift and the city? It's just incredibly, incredibly powerful. Every session is unique. Nothing's the same, but there is like a protocol that is taught on how to do it. And it's something that we can learn. You don't need special skills. We actually all have it. We're born with our intuition. We just got disconnected from it. And it's just coming back and harnessing that skill and growing in it. It's incredible.
Yeah, it makes total sense for me because as you were talking, I'm like, oh wow, I used to do this when I was a child.
Oh,
I
cool.
used to be able to just sit and zone out, and I could like I don't know, I could just live in a different like dimension. Like I could feel myself sweating and emotions, and I could like live with just a different life, just sitting there and zoning out and doing things. I'm like, man, at what point did I stop doing that, or at what point did I forget how to do that? Where you just start filling your day with more and more distractions, and
Yeah.
you don't allow yourself to just kind of enter your third eye, or go within and really see what's going on with yourself. I don't know, Katya, have you ever? I mean, you were a daydreamer too, right? When you were a kid. I mean, that makes sense to you.
So you're so right, Tammy, in saying that everybody needs to experience it. I encourage everybody to go and try your free healing circle because after my experience, you must know Katie Escobar. I believe she's in the same
I've heard of
circle.
her. Hmm.
Okay, so she was my theta experience. And when I engage in this kind of spiritual work with other people, I show up as a co-creator and a
Hmm.
co-healer
Hmm.
because my natural state is to be in flow with universe anyway, source. I'm Scorpio. For me to drop in, I'm like instantly there and I'm downloading and connecting and all the things. So what I loved about theta healing was, first of all, it was so peaceful being a Scorpio, I just want to pull people into the fire and hold them there and be like, you are going to change and it's going to be extreme and it'll be magical, but it's not nice. It's not peaceful. And theta healing to me was very peaceful. I felt amazing before, during, after. And it had like days after that where I was still in it. And once you understand the feeling of it, you can kind of call it in a little bit easier.
Oh, yeah.
So the experience is necessary for everybody to try.
Yeah, 100%. You just build that neural network of knowing how to go and connect and connect. Gosh, there was something I was going to say and I forgot. Oh, safety. For people who are healers, for people who want to become a healer, like I needed to go through a lot of clearing of safety to feel safe to say all of these things, to say I'm a healer in the world, because the world over time has not been very fond of healers. And even today, it is still a little bit taboo, but not too much. But it is 100% safe for us to be healers in the world. And so we just need to work on all those past fears and trauma that we've experienced.
Oh yeah, the Matrix, once you start pushing against it, it'll send its little warriors after you to see if you mean business or not. And it's hard at first because you're vulnerable and you don't
Mhm.
quite know how much armor to put on to protect yourself because I mean they're fierce. They come for you and they challenge you right away. So it's good that you stuck with it.
Mhm. Yeah, well, my calling won't quit me. It's pretty persistent.
Oh
Uh,
man, that's awesome. Yeah, I got to get back into that as far as dropping into my, zoning out and practicing it again. But I will say this that over the last year, doing the different modalities that we've done, I would say that my intuition or me listening to my intuition is probably 10 times what it used to be.
well, yeah.
I just had, ask Katia. I would say like I wish I had your superpowers. I have no like nothing. I was just so disconnected from myself, and it was really frustrating because like I said, when I was younger, I was good at living this secret life where I could go into different places and just have these experiences and then come back and I'd be tired or my arms would start moving. I was basically like hypnotizing myself and living these different experiences. And yeah, I was good at that. And now it's okay. I'm like, if I was good at it back then, I could probably fire that back up again.
Oh,
You know,
100%.
I have to say though, but your superpower was not the ability for you to go and travel all these different things and escape. It was that in and I know in a household that was as volatile as yours was, you were able to create safe space for yourself to have the
Mm.
experiences. And that is your superpower. And though you don't recognize it as easily as you should, you provide that for everybody that you come into contact with. It's a perspective shift.
Mm.
I'm always, hey, it's hard. Sometimes you got to turn the video camera around and see who the person filming is, right? It's easier for me to do that for other people.
For everybody.
Mhm.
Yeah, outside perspective is needed. We are not meant to do this journey alone, or else we could. Like literally, we cannot do it alone because that's part of the thing we're here to learn, how to lean on each other, how to work in collaboration. And the magic comes, we get to experience synergy. Things we would never create alone, we can come together and create incredible things, which is like going back to that awe and wonder. It's magic. So, yeah, anyone who
Yeah.
thinks they can do life on their own, they are totally lying to themselves. Like what is it that you are afraid of? And
So,
trust.
Tammy,
Trust is
being
the
a
big
hermit
thing.
isn't healthy for you? Is that what you're saying?
No, you've got to trust.
Yes. I think that's one of the hardest things, though, for a hermit is to trust.
Yeah.
I wonder why that is.
Yeah,
I know
they've
you're
got
waiting for me to jump in because I am a hermit. And but the thing is, here's what I'll say about the hermit. It's not really a persona so much as it's a time. I take hermit time to focus inward on my own spiritual path and realigning myself, and then I come out and I'm better able to serve myself and the people around me in the community. And so I think that if we can just like take off this negative label of hermit.
Yeah.
See how
You're
I'm a
bound.
genius, though, Tammy, is I created a podcast where she has to go and share her superpowers with people, and but it's true. It's like, okay, she doesn't have to be in a gymnasium filled with people sharing her superpowers. She can do like a one-on-one thing with other amazing people like yourself. See, that's the true genius of me. I tricked her into sharing her superpowers, and I think for
Yeah,
the better of the
you
whole
tricked
world.
me or you provided a sacred space for me to do it. It comes right back to your superpower.
Boom.
I I prefer tricking people, but hey, if you want me to create a special space, I could do that too. But tricking is more fun and funny. I'm a trickster.
Well, I'm just going to say, like, the level of collaboration and synergy doesn't have to be on a massive stage. Kati's not been on her journey alone. She has pulled people into her sacred space. And there's a place for people that are called to be more, in isolation. I mean, the two line of the human design, it's a part of people's design to be a hermit. It depends on what's in the other side of it. And it is like a balance of you can't get lost in it. And that's why this work is so important to understand how you operate, what fabric you're made from, what is your calling, what are you here to do? Some people are here to just be present and allow that other people around them to experience that on a small scale. And some people are meant to be here on a very large scale. So, no shaming the people who like their alone time. I'm an introvert and I love it too. And I need someone to help me with my blind spots. I cannot see them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It's true. I had a conversation with someone one time, and she's more oracle energies, very, very tied into spirit. And she honestly just came in, she popped into my experience and she's like, "You're spending too much time in spirit, you're gonna get lost. Come back to the 3D world." I'm like, oh.
Yeah. In some ways, it's like a numbing. It's an addiction.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I
We
was
all
talking
have
to someone that was doing Wim Hof breathing, and they were like, it's almost like drugs, and they were getting addicted to is it DMT? Is some kind of a DMT or a
Mm.
dopamine that your body can naturally release. And these feelings, you can get addicted to them, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to feel great all the time?
Yeah, right? And it's all getting us away from our worldly experiences of
Mhm.
things that are maybe a little more challenging or leaning into our work. Like being in bliss is great, and we're meant to experience more than that.
Sometimes somebody's just got to come and shoot your dog and test you.
What the hell?
Oh man,
I
That
was
is a
like,
seriously.
wild experience.
universe, like,
It's
I did not manifest this. Like, I don't need a wake up call. Like, I'm awake.
Tammy, have you ever seen Harry Potter?
I love Harry Potter.
So and for everybody out there, just go watch Harry Potter because it is amazing. But
Read the books,
this
they're better.
this always
The
reminds
books.
me of Harry Potter sitting in front of the mirror and spending time with his ghosts of parents, right? And him
Yes.
pretending to live in this
Mhm.
other realm was where his parents are alive, and that kills me inside watching him because at some point it's like, hey, Harry, you got to get away from that and start like your parents wouldn't want you just to sit here and live in that and not enjoy the life that they sacrificed for you.
Oh my gosh, yes. Like that is us living in our stories.
Hmm.
And sometimes they're really clear like that. We know we're kind of disconnecting, and other times it's our actual lived reality that is a complete made up story. It's wild.
Yeah, I think that's one of my big lessons recently is how important the present moment is and to stop wasting so much time in the present moment thinking about the past, thinking about things that happened, or worrying about the future. which is something a worrywart always does. Kathy knows me, I'm a big time worrywart, but I'm really enjoying like calling myself out in those moments where I'm, focusing on imaginary memories or how they might have turned out differently if I would have done things. And just really enjoying the present moment, trying to make great memories from the present moment. And man, it really does make your life a lot better when you start to integrate that a lot more.
Yes, Eckhart Tolle is my teacher for that. He's brilliant. He is
Hmm.
all about the present moment and now, and it's harder than it sounds.
I
It
learned it from my
is.
dog.
Yes, our animals, which he teaches, Eckhart teaches, our animals actually don't have the brain capacity or interest or desire. Like they don't hold on to stories. They just live in the present moment. And
Yeah.
I am a planner and a doer, so I'm always thinking about what's coming next. What am I doing next? And like I can be a worrier too. So it is. It's like constant catching yourself and coming back. That's to me the biggest misunderstanding about being mindful is we're supposed to have a quiet mind. Like that's impossible. It's about recognizing that our mind has drifted away and going back to the observer and watching and being grounded and centered in that and having that space of watching what's going on and staying there that's presence. And your mind is going to wander and run. It's the activity of catching it and coming back is the key to mindfulness.
I feel like that would make an incredible meditation to imagine, especially if you're a Harry Potter fan, to get into meditation, sit in front of your mirror, take the cloak off, and what are you seeing? What's in that mirror? And at the end of the meditation, just saying, thank you. Yes. And now I'm the observer because I'm watching it in the reflection, and I'm going to put the cloak back on it and come back to the present moment. That would be a
I
great
love
meditation.
that. That would be a great meditation. And it's kind of like his heart's desire, like regrets, what you're wishing and hoping would have happened. And that's a part of grief that we do not recognize often is how we have losses in like when a door closes, like we are dreaming we're going to do this thing and it doesn't happen and our whole life changes because we really thought that was going to happen. We don't honor that aspect of grief and loss in the way I think we could. So
I'm
yeah, I
glad you
love
brought up
that.
grief because
Mhm.
something was coming in where I'm like, you should talk about sacred rage. What
Oh,
is that to you, sacred rage?
well, it's Gabor Mate that talks about like a righteous anger. We 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 put these labels on all of our feelings like they're good or bad or indifferent, neutral. All of them are actually really helpful, but anger is very complex. So there is an anger that's just and right and true and should be utilized, like our own personal boundaries, holding our integrity, holding our character, holding true to what we want and what we need and getting angry about it and holding that space for ourselves is an accurate emotion to feel and it's just anger, but anger can also take on a mask. So oftentimes it's a secondary emotion where really we feel hurt or betrayed or something else. But what we know how to do and what we've been allowed to do is be angry. And so we can live in that secondary emotion and never go in and actually look at what's underneath that. So it's always helpful to know that our emotions are our doorway, they're our gates, and they're inviting us to understand where they're coming from, what's the story behind it. So I personally don't operate with the need to express rage like rage rooms in a somatic kind of way, but I know that can be really helpful depending on how you're designed. What's your fabric? My fabric is peace. That's how I'm in grace is so for me it's just sitting quietly and breathing through things. But screaming If you need to scream, and utilizing your voice is important. And what's so fascinating, which just is just popping in, is the frequency of our voice is healing to our own bodies that we don't tap into very often. And that's why chanting is so powerful and helpful. But if you think about when we have children and we're cuddling an infant or we're consoling a child that got hurt, what do? We sing, we hum, we console. And the only time it naturally comes out of our bodies, if we allow it, is when we are sobbing. We will moan and howl and yell because it's our natural body sending the frequency that our body needs to break up that and process that so it doesn't get stuck and trapped in our bodies. If you watch animals, they do it naturally. They shake, they yawn, you know?
Hmm.
It's fascinating that animals have the ability to do that, but our ability, our natural body's ability to do that, to ground, to go out and step on the ground and without shoes on, like it's not been a learned thing for us for a very long time, and we're so disconnected and removed from it, we just don't even know what to do. And we're told, literally told, to go to your room, be quiet. I don't want to see you or hear from you until you are calm and can have a conversation. Your emotions are too big and they're not allowed here. Over and over, they're not allowed anywhere. And so we have to change that narrative and change that programming to allow ourselves to be, allow ourselves to feel.
Man,
Oh
well,
my God, there was so much there. I don't even know where to start. Every time you
yeah,
said something, I'm like, oh my God.
I was like, well, you just poked Katya in the heart a few times there, being,
In
you
the
know,
primal wound.
not being allowed to express herself or not being allowed to have emotions. I mean, that is a huge trauma for your inner child. That's sad to me.
Yeah, I mean, so my son's sign is Scorpio. That's all the most intensely felt emotion in the zodiac. Plus, my entire chart is ruled by the moon, which is all about the feelings too. I have big feelings, and I was in a container where that was not safe for me to ever express it. So, you want to talk about primal wound? Well, that's one of them for me.
Yeah.
Our children are very interesting, though, Tammy. I can't recall ever a time where they have thrown a tantrum,
Wow. That's
ever. And I was talking to Kati about this. I'm like, it's not that we wouldn't allow them to. They were in such a safe space. I don't think they ever needed to.
that's
And I
awesome.
don't want
Well,
to like brag about that, but I just had that thought like, wow, it's not that we wouldn't let them freak out. It's just that they never felt like they needed to.
when you do energy healing work on yourself, you're healing your ancestors. Well, it goes in both directions. So you're
Well,
healing your children and their children. And
Right?
so you're absolutely right. There was, they're healed
I
through
mean,
the
and
them.
they became mirrors to us where when we were not able to regulate ourselves, they would look at us and be like, "Really? We don't do that." There's healing all around.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God, I think being a parent has been the biggest lesson for me. And my poor daughter, like I got pregnant when I was 17 and I didn't know what I was doing. So I've learned a lot about, what not to do and just forgiveness and asking for forgiveness and releasing the guilt, the mom guilt of I know I was doing the best that I knew how to do and it didn't look great. And I'm still doing the best that I can do, and it still doesn't always look great. But you got to give yourself grace and just when you know better, you do better and just do better. I mean, that's part of life too.
Yeah, the human
I
experience is the good, the bad, and the ugly. So,
yeah, I don't think I ever heard my parents ever talk to me about how they were sorry about,
Mhm.
some things that they might have screwed up or I mean, I looked at these people like, okay, you're supposed to know what you're doing. And they never came and talked to me like a person, not just this child that they had, and just said like, we're we're doing the best that we can, and we screw up sometimes. I never had that conversation with them.
Mm.
It's so wild. But for me, if I lose my temper, which I used to do lots when the kids were little, I would if I w- mo I would say most of the time I would actually calm down, acknowledge the fact that I screwed up majorly, and I would go and talk to them, and I would tell them the things that I would have needed to hear if if I was them, and just be like, I'm sorry guys, like seriously, dad messed up today, and
Oh my gosh, that
yeah.
is so amazing and so powerful. And not only expressing that to your children, but to yourself. Giving yourself some grace. Like you're human and you reacted and you were triggered, and like self-acceptance, self-forgiveness. It's hard.
Right. And that is something that my Virgo husband struggles with a lot.
Yeah.
But something that you said, which I think is a reason, there was a reason you said it for both of us, is the frequency of your voice is healing to you. So if your parents never had that conversation with you and it would have been healing to you in that moment, you saying it out loud to yourself is an opportunity to heal.
Yes.
The frequency of your voice, having it come out,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely. 100%. Yes. So, like handwriting and journaling letters to people is helpful, but actually speaking it out loud, affirmations are spoken out loud for a reason.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question for you, Tammy. I hope I don't butcher it, but if I let's say if I or anyone were to come to you, and we're on this mission about like what our soul really wants.
Mm.
Um, would it be possible to do a good job of connecting with ourselves to kind of see what we really want, like to set a compass for 10 years from now, 20 years from now, so that we can help at least chart. We might not go in a straight line, but to have that destination point, that's something that I would find extremely valuable to be able to set these, goals, these markers that my soul truly wants to achieve.
Yeah. I mean, we have infinite possibilities, right? We have free will and choice along the way. So I don't like people to set long-term, hard, solid goals. And it's not really about goals anyways. I'm not a goal
Okay.
person because it's about mastery of growing and becoming our best selves and how we're showing up and giving ourselves the opportunity to change our mind. Like some people can be so rigid to that, but it is exactly the work we've been talking about, and allowing, connecting to yourself, allowing yourself to see yourself, and really I am identifying what your calling is, what does call you. And most people have a whisper of something that they love, and this is where I think the Gene Keys shine, is they really point the direction of what you're meant to do in a loose sense. And then
Mhm.
when you talk about it and do the energy healing work around it, it has bubbled up and became clear for every client that I have. And then you can really start to say, okay, what does this look like? And theta healing's really good at manifesting work. When you can manifest with energy healing, it's just an amplified direct ask to the universe. But manifesting isn't about having a list, it is about action. So the universe meets you where you're going and amplifies what you're doing. It does not respond well to people not acting.
Right.
And
Just
it
sitting
doesn't
and
respond
praying and not actually doing anything. Right.
does not respond well to that. And also, it needs to be in alignment with who you are. So, Kati, if you are called to speak to the world and you want to have an island where you can just be all in isolation and be your hermit, that's probably not going to manifest for you because it's not in alignment with your calling. So, when we can create and manifest in alignment with our true calling, the universe man comes behind it, and we're acting towards it, comes behind. And then synchronicities come in, You meet the right people. Things fall into place. And then sometimes this is the thing. We might have an idea of what it is, and other things might come in. And so being open-minded is why goals are not my favorite to say, but being open-minded to being led by the universe in your calling and letting your heart or whatever is meant to lead you, your intuition, your heart, so that you can walk that journey and navigate that journey in the most efficient way. That's what I love to help people with.
Nice,
And that's
perfect answer.
exactly that, right? That's exactly what Alex would require, and he constantly needs to hear, because
Mhm.
his Virgo gift has been to create safety and structure and processes to get him to this point. And now that was from survival mode. And he is ready for his heart to step forward. And I think with that, we're going to have to let go of some of the rigidity and the systems and the processes and lead more with faith that the universe will show up to meet you and manifest the things that your soul actually wants you to do.
Yeah, and being present, right? And really, when you're present and you are open and you have a clear idea, like you have your compass. Sometimes we're actually given compasses because we don't have one. So you might actually need a compass. Um, and a North Star, like it might be something that's not present for you. And you have that North Star and you're navigating towards it. And then all of these things fall in. And when you can say, okay, you trust and know that you have that compass. You know where your North Star is, but you don't have to stare at it constantly. You
Hmm.
can let go. And then you can just be, because you get this sense of safety and security and grounded confidence that you know what you're doing. You feel confident in your next step forward. 10 steps ahead, I don't know yet because I'm not there yet, but I know the next one for sure. And then you can be present in the moment. And in that space, then all sorts of things just come into play. But if we're looking at life and looking at our North Star, like we're going to miss out on a lot of things.
Right, yeah. Yeah, because it's not a straight shot.
No,
Lo
no,
you
but it
get
can
you
be
got to
more
go through the
efficient.
weeds once in a while,
Yeah,
right?
there are. But switchbacks are the best way to get up a mountain.
It's true.
I Katia, this one place I don't agree with you in your Scorpio energy. I do not believe in the phoenix. I do not
Oh
believe that
no.
we have to light on fire and grow through pain and suffering. In fact, those are beliefs I've been working for the past 10 years to change. Like we can learn through grace, love, and ease. It doesn't have to be hard,
And it's funny because she
Yeah.
tells me all the time, like, you need to stop thinking that you have to grind yourself into the ground in order to make money
right?
and do
Those
things.
are
I'm like,
beliefs.
there's an easy way. There's an easy way to do things too
I
when you're in
mean,
the flow.
those are centuries of beliefs for men to get out and work. And when you work hard, you will get your reward. I mean, there's layers and layers of those, and we can change those. It's not true. It's time to change that narrative to heal those patterns. They're not needed today. We do not live like we lived 1,000 or even 100 years ago.
Right.
There's yeah, and there's so many men out there that are sacrificing their lives, their health, their relationships, especially with their family, with their own children, with their wives. Like they'll lose it all trying to build this imaginary life that they're successful, and
Yeah.
meanwhile you've just lost everything along the way. And that's painful to watch people do that.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be a choice. We're not using the word or. We're using the word and. You can have success and you can have a healthy life. I want it all. I want the whole wellness wheel. And
Hmm.
that's what we're striving for. And it takes dedication. This is not a magic wand. There's no silver bullet or magic pill. Like this takes dedicated time and effort to lean in and do the work. I wish it was more quick. But when you work with an expert, when you learn how to do this, it is more efficient than just wandering aimlessly in the woods without a compass. you can get lost
Yeah.
and in
Oh, for
trouble.
sure. Yeah.
TawandaWellbeing.com. That's where we got to go.
Yes.
Awesome. Sorry, Kathy, I
All
cut
right.
you off.
Well, you did cut me off, and now I'm all butthurt. Not going to say what I was going to say.
What do you
I
mean? I
am
thought you were
going
gonna.
to, no, I'm going to move on to
Oh,
the question that was left by our last guest for Tammy. Okay, so the last guy wants to know what is your, no, that's not his. Hold on. What what was your transition aha moment to entrepreneurship?
Oh my gosh. Well, I had this calling and I was like, oh man, so fearful, so scared, so scared. But there was one pivotal moment where I was like, Tammy, you've got to step out. You have the answers to help. So I was in an all-day training course with healthcare workers, nurses, doctors in the healthcare system on resilience. And it was during the pandemic. And
Oof.
all day we learned about all these awesome positive psychology things that are great and awesome. And at the end of the day, a nurse raised her hand and said, all this information is great, but at the end of the day, I have these feelings and I don't know what to do with them. And I
mm,
go home and I don't know how to be with my kids. I do not know how to turn this off. And it
wow.
was silent for a moment. And he didn't have an answer for her. He had given us everything that he knew. So I was in that room saying, Tammy, you have the answer for her. Get off your ass and step up and start your business because the world needs you. And so that was it. That was my moment.
It's a beautiful moment. And the reason why we even started doing what we're doing, because that's a genius moment. That is a pivotal transformational moment where you listened to your calling and you acted on it. There was an action that followed, and you are willing and confident and happy to share your gift because you know it's healing.
Yes.
And it's scary as hell and worth it.
Yes. I
Oh
love
man,
that question. That was a good question.
that
It was
was
a
great. That was
sweet
a great
question.
answer. Great answer too.
Yes, perfect answer. So, what
All
would
these
your question be?
and all these questions are
That's
divinely
why we
inspired
asked
for the
them.
for the people. So yeah. And what would
Uh,
yeah, like Kathy said, what
yeah,
would your question be, Tammy?
what will I ask the next person? Mm. I just want to ask them like, what is it that what is it they're not saying yes to? And what is it that they need? What is it that they're not saying no to? That they really need to? That's my question.
Beautiful.
I just had an idea for Tammy's business where she sells mirrors to people and they can like have to stare at the mirror and Harry Potter their way out of whatever they're going through.
Oh my gosh, I just took that onto a whole nother level. You know, the workout mirrors?
Yeah,
Oh, I'm in the mirror guiding people.
yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, interesting. Oh
Oh
man,
God.
and we'll never know what Kathy was gonna say. Now I'm not gonna be able to sleep tonight.
Okay, I was just going to bring it back to the whole Scorpio Phoenix thing because that was my sun sign and it got me through the first half, just as I was saying to you. But my moon sign is Virgo, so it's becoming the nurturer for myself to soothe. Because there was a time and place for me to burn things down and rebirth and burn it down and rebirth. But you know
It's
what?
true.
I'm kind of done, you know? And then I have people like you, Tammy, who come in and say, yeah, but there's a gentle way of doing this. There's something called compassion.
I know. It's true. It's true. And it depends on our fabric and what's needed because actually in the Gene Key book, it talks about when we ascend and when we do this work, we actually literally raise our frequency to a level that we don't have to see all of those burdens. They just burn up. They evaporate up by our increased frequency. And the more work we do, we increase our frequency. And so your capability, your capacity, you were built to be able to raise your frequency to burn stuff in order to process it. So everyone's just built differently. However, just like the martyr having to light ourselves on fire, it's old ways of doing things. We're moving into a new era, a new earth. We don't have to have things be so challenging and difficult and hard. We can do things in a nicer and lighter and easier way. And, like it's happened to me too. Like sometimes you just want to light things on fire and release them. I get that. But I'm moving us towards a gentler path. And when we reach that level of our burdens are no longer our burdens, then we will be able to have peace, and we won't have this anymore. And our babies will be born in without all of this ancestral drama and and burden. And that's
Mhm.
why we are doing this work. We are bringing peace into the world.
Yeah,
I've
that's
never had
perfect.
anybody reframe the phoenix the way that you did, and I will take that with me because the phoenix rises, and it's the idea of it's not the phoenix, it's the energies, the frequency that rises, and the stuff gets to burn off
Yeah,
underneath that. And
that's
that
right.
is the most peaceful vision of the phoenix I have ever been given. So thank you.
Okay. Well, that's a one first. That's the way I operate as a manifester. It just flows right on out. And channeling, right? Just what needs to be said. I mean, for me, I'm more of the dark night of the soul, hunkering down and just feeling things, which is a different, like that's not fun either, you
Yeah.
know? So all of that, like let's learn how to get rid of all of this. Not get rid of it, process it and heal from it and learn it. Like it's not about squashing things. It's about releasing and freedom and peace and
For
learning
sure.
and ascending.
I
Yeah.
think what you said too about the martyr and what we were talking about sacrificing. There's so many people are so used to sacrificing themselves, and I'm in that boat too, where my old way of thinking is I would do anything for the greater good, for my family, but
Mhm.
what good is that if I'm dead and gone? And it's like, who's greater good? Is my family happier that I
Right.
crippled myself so that they could live in a fancy house? No, they would much rather us live a mediocre life and at least me be there and be with them.
Mhm.
And man, so many people are, yeah, yeah. And like I said, that old way of thinking too, and I still have to shed some of it where I would sacrifice myself so that my family could go on without me. It's
Mhm.
crazy. It doesn't do any good. I'm the star of the show here. I'm the star of the show. I got to
We
take
all
care
are.
of this so that everybody can enjoy this.
Man, I'm so glad, Kati, that you did share that with us. Yeah, I'm really glad. And Alex, I mean, think about it in this reframe that's coming in for me right now is that you're not only talking about yourself right now. There's a lot of people doing that. And what they're doing is they're teaching their kids how to live their life when they become old. Do they want their children to sacrifice themselves and live in that same misery when they get old? Probably not. You're doing it to give them peace and let them have everything but that's not actually what happens.
Right.
Those programmings get repeated and then they learn to be people pleasers, to put themselves last, to be in dysfunctional relationships, to live a life without fulfillment, without joy, without laughter, and with material things. And material things can be an incredibly heavy burden to bear.
Sure. Yeah, I've been trying to ditch the do as I say, not as I do, and
Mhm.
turn it into do as I do.
Mm.
And I'll be a living example for them of what is possible or what they should look for, because we have two daughters that who they should look for in a spouse, and I want to set a good example for who they should look for.
It's tricky though, right? Because you're successful and you're an entrepreneur, and that does require work and investment and dedication and confidence and time on task. I'm not always available because I'm working on, you're building a legacy for you, the world, for your family. And that, that's different than just mindlessly, having a bunch of debt and building this big to give everyone happiness and go on vacations. And so there's, I'm not sure if what you're doing is exactly what we're talking about, but um, there's a line here. You got to identify where you're at because
Right.
we should have goals. We should strive for mastery. It's okay to build a legacy. It's okay to be successful and to strive to always do better and that requires a lot of time. We just need to also dedicate that time to our families. And I'm completely guilty of that. I'm spending a ton of time in this business and not spending as much time with my family right now. And this is the season of leaning in hard and I'm getting told to pull back, spend more time with my family too.
That's good that you're listening because, yeah, we can often get obsessed too with our businesses
Mhm. Yeah,
for sure.
I had calling calls. I have a message. And
Yeah.
I'll be able to share it later. Like spend time with your family. It's tricky.
Yeah, that's the human experience.
Mhm,
Balance.
mhm.
I hope that you come back for a part two because it was fantastic talking to you. And man, it was just so many amazing takeaways. And I will say this that my wife and I am being called to look into the gene keys this weekend. So maybe let's do a little bit of gene keys this weekend and uh, definitely keep in touch with Tammy and see what kind of cool things lay ahead for all of us. And I just want to remind everybody to go check out Tammy at tawandawellbeing.com, and I'll put the link in the show notes. And I just want everybody to enjoy the summer, keep living your genius, and we'll see you on the next episode.